all of you must be familiar with what the system, I don't know what the system is, obviously, but you all must be familiar with the system. Do you think that this weakness of the system identified by the colleague there is, how can that weakness be eliminated from the system? Is there a way that weakness of the system be eliminated?
Regular monitoring and evidence.
No, teacher
Worldly idea.
teacher knows the objective. 1 year before the quiz.
living
For the
utopian
next year,
world.
the heads have already given them the objective. They should, if they have not given. Why not at the end of the year, teacher evaluates their own performance according to the objective?
But in my view, the performance is good. In somebody else's view, the performance is the same.
But is it a regular practice? That's the point.
It is a regular practice. The part of appraisal, 50% of the appraisal is skill based. And for that skill based, sometimes if the monitoring or time to time negotiation and talk is not done with the teacher, and then at the end of the year, the teacher says, I have been like this and this, and why are you rating me for in these grades? Then it becomes a problem. So regular communication, regular record keeping is required.
Yes.
Even appraisal discussion भी तो एक तरह से enforce है कि this category, that category, and the bus bound to agree.
Rule, if you in doubt, see rule 1.
It is a better.
So then again, it's not totally performance based. So there's a conflict.
Because we have to, the bell curve says that there has to be 3 A's in your school. Then we cannot give the 4th A. So we have to stick to those 3 A's.
And then you have to give someone the 3 E's. And
Yeah.
there is no E in your school. The last one is
Then, but you have to, because it will not get
Very interesting. Very interesting. What suggestions would you come forward to eliminate this aspect? Do you think that there shouldn't be this condition of 3 E's?
Yes.
Whatever does it mean? There shouldn't be 3 A's, whatever that means.
It should be open. It should be open.
It should be open.
It used to be.
Yes, yes, at least now. You are within the Beaconhouse as well. What is your role there?
I am the HM of A-level.
Right.
But like the gentleman said that there are certain people who are not the perfect role models, let's put it like that, in whatever capacity they are working in. Similar is the case of the appraisal thing. If you are really appraising the person honestly with all the valid proof, because there is a lot of checks and counter checks in the system.
Yes, that's what I want to
give.
And there are planner writers and planning that you discuss and you check. Everything is done, and there's lots of staff development taking place throughout the year. The teacher has her objectives for the year, the new academic. She has to work around those objectives. There are 2 objectives, maximum 4. She has to work around that. Now, if I have to take out my personal revenue,
Yeah.
that is my thing. It has nothing to do with the system.
But just for, if I can just ask, that if you have something against that teacher,
Get the objective wrong.
can you in any way
or unachievable,
influence that?
then what happens?
Can you influence the teacher's appraisal? Negatively?
Yes, I can, but listen, no. She has to sign it.
And when
It is not that I give her a 0 and I say, okay, I want to get rid of so and so.
So,
Put her in.
Dr. Saeeda, Dr. Saeeda, may I?
then all right, she has the right to refuse to sign. So where is it then resolved?
Then it goes to the group head. Like I said, we have an hierarchy. It is not like if I am the head and I am the basha. Then she goes to the group head with her complaint or please, and so on and so on.
Now you see why I was saying that, because if I'm giving the goals or the objective to my friend, the easy one and the one I don't like, the hard one, then what happens?
That's another thing.
Yeah.
What is that point? I was going to have to speak.
how objectives are allocated. Those who are your friends, are close to you, and you want to be supportive of, you will give them easier objectives. Those who you really want to sort of stretch to the limit, I would say.
The leader has to be
But then who's going to decide whether the present is worse or not?
There should be a comprising of
The West, why the multinational, they have 360 revenues. They have horizontal and vertical. So the colleagues, they also pray, and the boss also. So that is how they come to the conclusion.
Yes, it goes back to leadership, but obviously leaders also differ. They also have their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, some leaders may tend to abuse power as well. You know that as well. What I'm going, we will come back to this discussion again, but obviously we can't spend the whole time on this. But I'm just going to bring in two things that have slightly come up differently. One is the self-review or self-evaluation. Yes. I think that is a significant thing, and it should be considerably extended. It shouldn't be just a small part of review or appraisal. Currently, the whole self-review or self-evaluation is being given high significance because you know your own work. And if you sort of overplay yourself in your self-review, obviously whoever is reviewing you also needs evidence that have you really achieved that what you are claiming. So perhaps that can be made a part of that. Another point which come up.
Evidence is there, the lesson planning.
Yes.
Their own
Yes. I do agree that systems are there and must be there because obviously a huge organization like this wouldn't work without systems. But what I'm trying to draw your attention to is that always in the systems and structures there is a scope for abusing them, for misusing the systems. And that comes within the leadership role really. It is not just a low role, it is a responsibility. Being a leader is a responsibility and a duty. And coming from that perspective, it is the leader's role to make it as immune to abuse as possible. And another point that you were making here, what you said, yes, that was really another good point that I was thinking, that instead of being critical always, that you have got this weakness or this, you haven't done this, always emphasize you have achieved this. You see, after that, you see, it is that stick and carrot thing. Don't use the stick first, please. That is the first rule of good leadership. First, encourage people, motivate them, help them understand, even overemphasize their achievements. See, you're not losing anything by, and that is as you do with students. You see, the more you appreciate their work, the more.
Or the coordinators, when they observe their teachers, so they are like their friends, but they are critical friends. You see.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that people become critical first and friends later. I would rather say be friends first and critical later. That is a sort of more collaborative approach which can lead to more effective use of distributed leadership. I would have these, please collect these and leave them on their table. I'll keep them with me, looking into them myself. So that is what helps in understanding leadership. And there is no one, as most of the tables I went around, when I asked them which particular framework fits in with your educational structure, generally people thought one thing here, one thing there, one thing there. And that again emphasizes the point that I was making earlier, that there is no one model or framework which fits in. In one situation it can be one thing, in another it can be another thing, in another it can be a very different mix of things. So keep your minds open to these flexibilities, that this leadership, distributed leadership, can also be enacted in different ways. There is no one definition of what distributed leadership is. It is sharing work, collaborating, how you are arranging that sharing, how that is working in a specific situation. It will depend on the nature of the organization. It will depend on the nature of the people where that organization, who are running that organization, who are working with that organization. It will also be dependent on the culture of the society, on the policies of the government in that area. So a lot of things interact. We can't just have a leadership model per se, generic, which we say, hey, this is the perfect model which we can have there. And I'll come to just last point, and again ask one of you from each paper. Think of a leader you really admire. It may not necessarily be in your own school. And I can understand if you don't do that in schools, because that might be politically not correct if you admire one person in your school and not the other one. You can admire it from anywhere within where you are working now or where you have worked previously, or any organization that you know about. And just tell me why, what is it particularly in that person that you admire that person as a leader? Just 1 minute to think, and I might ask anybody. Think of a person whom you admire and why you admire that person.
Can't think anyone else. From my parents. Why I admire his tolerance and time.
No need to name the person, just you have to give me what that person is doing. Yeah, what that person is, where is that person performing? In a school, don't even name a school.
Based in a school.
Yes.
Working at principal level.
Right. Secondary or primary?
It's like secondary. If not in secondary.
Right.
It's like A level.
Right.
And
what do you really admire that person for?
The trust that she has put in me as a leader and my team. The kind of trust that she transfers. Of course, by assigning tasks, by involving the head as a leader and the team.
Right. So
It's
trust
not
you
only
think is the most important quality. Yes.
There is a person that I do admire, a leader, and she is, what I admire about her is that she listens.
She listens.
She listens, and
She is in a leadership position.
she is in a, yes, she's a group head. So, and she listens, and I think that is very important. Nothing has happened with her listening as yet, but I know that whatever I say